Alright, so in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to draw the diagram for Game 1 from Prep Test 70. Okay, a concert promoter is filling the 6 slots at a benefit concert. The slots from earliest to latest are numbered slot 1 through 6. So right away, looks like we're dealing with a sequencing game. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots from earliest to latest. The slots will be filled by 6 bands, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Each band will perform in just one slot, and the order must meet the following constraints. So each in just one slot means we have a 1-to-1 ratio. So we have sequencing 6 players and a 1-to-1 ratio. There might be an opportunity to do some world splitting here. So we'll see if we have a small enough number of total worlds that we could do all of them at the beginning. If not, then maybe we just do our diagram and move on to the questions. All right, so rule number 1. Excuse the noise, my bird is hanging out in the desk drawer and he's just, his nails are scratching against the wood. Hopefully you can still hear me above that and it's not too distracting. So rule 1, V is in an earlier slot than Z. Rule 2, W and Z each perform in an earlier slot than X. Okay. So we can see that we can actually combine these two rules, right? So we've got some relative position rules, and so we can use the web game strategy where we would actually combine them by putting V over here in front of Z. So we've added these two rules together. All right. Uneasy performs in one of the last 3 slots. So U has to be somewhere in here, and Y is in one of the first 3. Okay, so Y has to be in one of these first 3, U has to be in one of these last 3, and this is our web for the relative positions of the other players. Okay. So X has 1, 2, 3 players that have to be ahead of it. So X definitely can't be one of the first 3, right? And then V has 1, 2 at least that have to be after it. U also has to be one of these 3, so V would have to be one of the first 3 for sure. So there are a few things that we can learn from combining the web with the rules about Y and U. Okay, so take a moment to just see if your diagram matches mine. Right? And we could potentially start world splitting. I would start just with maybe putting Y first, second, and third. But yeah, I do think that ultimately the more efficient way to do this game is just to go into the questions. Right? So if you wanted to create a couple worlds just to get that bank of acceptable solutions started, then that makes sense. But otherwise, I'd say just go to the questions. So question 1 doesn't look like our typical question 1 where we have complete solutions and we just have to find the ones that break rules. Here they're asking us which one of the following cannot be the band that performs in slot 5. So we know for sure it can't be Y, but that's not one of the answer choices. So there's got to be some other player that can't be 5th. I would look to a player that's likely got to be earlier in the sequence because it has players after it. So V has to be earlier in the sequence because it has Z and X after it. So the latest it could be based on the web is fourth because it has 2 after it, but it can't be fourth because then you wouldn't be able to be here. So actually the earliest that V could be is third. So it definitely can't be in slot 5. So B is the correct answer. Sorry, he's being a lot louder than I thought he would be. I thought he would just curl up and chill and have a nap, but yeah, he's being pretty noisy. All right, we'll move on to question 2, and you know, if it's worth it going through this, then yeah, that's great. But if not, then I'll just have to make another video when he's not hanging out with me here. Okay, so if Z is earlier than Y, what's the earliest for W? Okay, so if Z is earlier than Y, and Y is in one of the first 3, then these have got to be 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then we know U has to be in here, and we know W and X have to be in here. So the earliest that W could perform is 4th. So C. If V is in slot 3, so Z and X have to be after V, and U has to be somewhere in one of these last 3, right? 4, 5, or 6. So our other players are W and Y. And then U could be in any of these 3 spots, and Z has to be before X. So what must be true? U is earlier than X. Oh, that doesn't have to be true. Hi, chicken. You're being very loud. You're being very distracting. Okay. W is earlier than Z. Yes, so W has to be either 1 or 2. And Z would have to be either 4 or 5. So W before Z must be true. B is the correct answer. All right, moving on. Yes, I know. Okay, question 4. If Z performs immediately before W, hey, hi. You just don't want to calm down. Hey? Something to keep you busy. Hi. You being a bit of a nuisance? Yeah. Okay.